Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and it's the Comic Book Roundtable. And tonight we just have Mike with us. Sergeant Merrick, how's it going, sir?
Great, high on life, so I'm all ready for this.
Right on, right on. Living the dream, living the dream.
Yes. Yep.
So, this is a small week of comics for me. So, well, I only got a whopping 15. We should be able to tear through this stuff. We'll be done so fast that the latecomers will come on and we'll be done. We'll be done. Anyway, so we flipped the imaginary three-sided coin. It came up Marvel, so we're going to talk Marvel first this week. And right off the bat, somehow I mentally twisted Mike's arm into picking up Black Bolt, right?
Well, I mean, it was a smaller week for me, too. So when I was looking through, yeah, I mean, the artwork was really nice, and you mentioned the story's good. So, yeah, I jumped on it.
So you went back and bought issue 1 and 2?
1, 2, and 3. Yep.
Cool. So what'd you think?
I like it. I mean, it's interesting how Black Bolt is figuring out more and more. All of this would have been his brother. He would really be punishing his brother almost twofold if everything had gone the way he planned. So I think that's starting to create an awakening, which one of the other, I don't remember if it's the back of this book or if it's in one of my other books, kind of leads up to what the next book is going to be, because it looks like it's him, his brother Medusa, something about them, like
but
Kings.
The Royals is called, I think, right? Yeah.
So, yeah. So I mean, I think that's what we're supposed to gather out of this is that Black Bolt figures there's too much punishment. He wasn't as king, because often he says, I'm supposed to be, basically responsible for all of this. I'm responsible for all the people. I'm responsible for all my choices. And this would have been a horrible choice. This would have been just wrong to do to my brother. So the team up has been interesting. I like Crusher Creel as a bad guy, though in this one they make him a lot more lovable than in the original Secret Warriors run, because he ends up killing the mother of his son. So, yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
He's a bad dude. I mean, it's one of those things. So, the team interaction's good. The giant baby monster was interesting.
Right.
And then getting to the main jailer, I thought was pretty wild. So, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I want to thank you. This was a good book. So.
Cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it, since how you dropped what, $12 all at one time on it. But yeah, I've really been enjoying it too. I mean, this issue, it really comes to, like you're saying, that this isn't justice. This torture chamber of horrors that's supposed to be a prison is well beyond just housing somebody. They've got some sort of engine that's running the whole prison, and the engine seems to run on the fear and death, because the main jailer literally kind of like kills you and then brings you back to life, and kills you, brings you back to life. They don't know how many times, kind of a thing, which has got to be a pretty horrific ordeal. And of course, the whole process of that happening, you're kind of being, raked across the coals of your sins while you're being killed. So, in this issue, they basically kind of break out. They at least break out enough to get their powers back. So we get to see some, some higher end antics in here as Black Bolt unleashes some pretty hefty power, by the end of the book, which was cool. Curious to see what happens next. I really, continue to love the artwork, and your Kristen Ward's artwork is just fabulous, I think. One of the things I like about this is it has some Kirby-esque-ness to it too, which I enjoy. One of the things about Black Bolt's costume, that the white lines in his costume are very Kirby-esque in themselves. And of course, they've not changed that costume, so it maintains that sort of thing. And then Kristen Ward takes those lines and kind of works that into the rest of the art that's in there. The engine that's in this, for instance, when they realize that that's what it is, it's an engine that's absorbing all this fear and death and all that kind of stuff. It's a very kind of reminiscent of a Kirby-esque sort of a device that would be in the background of his very heavily, drawn, detailed kind of backgrounds and whatnot. So I loved all those kinds of of aspects of it. I'm gonna see if I can find that. Yeah, this machine. It just, to me, with the circles on there, that just has a very Kirby-esque feeling to it. And like I said, I like. Was that?
I was just going to say, yeah, it does remind me of like New Gods. Is that the kind of thing that you're thinking?
Yeah, which is definitely
yeah, Kirby, yes.
Yeah, Kirby kind of thing. But he's always got that kind of machine or whatnot. I always think Christian Ward does an excellent job of his panel work, even if it's not always straight conventional. The way that it's drawn, as far as movement and stuff, it always. I never have a problem with following where the comic is going to. So,
and even like when you're talking about this one right here, I mean, as you can see, the paneling style is very different with this big cutout there. But like you mentioned, I mean, you go to and your eyes read what it needs to in the order it needs to. And I do get confused on some of them, especially like, if it's like multiple across and then they fill up. I think recently you were even talking about, there was one that was a double bar in the middle, and then sometimes that can be a little off factoring, trying to figure out how many of each panel they want you to do. And Death's Head, have you ever seen him before? Is that something? Because a lot of this stuff I'm also gathering is very galactic. I don't know if they're trying to push a little bit more of the Guardians of the Galaxy idea that. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of these characters.
All right.
Yeah, I beyond the standard, beyond the standard hero, beyond Black Bolt and Absorbing Man, I don't know these characters. Other than being introduced to them here. Yeah. So that mercenary, right? That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah. Death's Head, that mercenary. I don't know.
Once he got his payment, it's like, I'm not a jailer. I'm a,
right.
I was just here for my money. When I got it, I'm done. So
yeah.
The skull or scroll was also very interesting to finally see her powers, that she doesn't change her image, which is what they're known for, because she likes her face.
Right.
But instead, she can create energy weapons. I thought that was an interesting take. That was something. I mean, I was big, and I really loved the Secret Invasion time. So the Skrulls were a big favorite of mine as a space baddie, and it was kind of a nice, different take on that.
Yeah. Oh, and you're not quite sure just how much is she on Black Bolt's side, or I mean, because he is working hand in hand with people that are criminal elements that on any given day he would throw in prison, kind of a thing. So, so it's a I don't know. It's interesting. And then how long is this going to last? How long is I think the kid is on his side, but the rest of them, I don't know. As soon as they have broken out, what happens? And the other question is what happens to this comic book after they've broken out?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because really the story has been an imprisonment, isolation, kind of a thing for, for Black Bolt. Now I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, but I don't know how long, what's the story arc after this? I mean, what is he doing? Because after he gets out of prison, it's kind of, I don't know what's next for him. But
there is this, it says Inhumans, of once and future kings. And of course, that looks like his brother, him and Medusa. That's an insert for my Avengers Avengers comic. So I think that kind of shows that I think it is a very limited run. Probably 6 issues, maybe 5, but
yeah, which is okay with me.
Yeah, we're already getting to our jailer, so which I think left it in a good spot. I think that is another thing. It's had the right cliffhangers that you need in a comic too. So
right,
not too much over the top, but enough to made me want to keep reading from comic to comic. So
right, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Jacques is saying that Death's Head is an 80s Marvel UK character.
Oh, all right.
Cool.
See, I thought I'd heard of him somewhere before, but my UK knowledge definitely is Excalibur, and that is it. So
right. So anyway, I'm really enjoying Black Bolt. If it ends up being just 6 issues, whatever, that'll be cool. I don't know that Christian Ward. I don't think on this long term. I think he's taking time from the indie books he's working on to do to do this, and then I would assume he's going back to that, because this pays the bills up front, whereas the Image books don't pay up front. So, I'm enjoying it. I like the Black Bolt character. It's funny, I was like, oh, it's always kind of interesting to see how they're going to tell a story with him, because he can't talk. Well, they loses his power for a while here, so he could talk. And somebody randomly retweeted somebody else saying, I don't see what the big deal is about Black Bolt not being able to talk. I mean, all he has to do is pick up a phone and text whoever he wants to. And I'm like, oh man, you just wrecked the character for me now. Except for it seems very low class for, Black Bolt to whip out his BlackBerry to, to text people and whatnot. But it makes sense that you would do it that way. So.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also so much more with his powers. I don't really know how his flight works. And then they keep mentioning he has heightened senses on the ability to hear or feel, like sense what's going on.
Right.
So
well, clearly strong, clearly super strong.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's more that I would like to explore eventually, maybe go back and pick up some old trades of some of his stuff. So that might be something I'd look at.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm going to Marvel books. Any others?
Oh, yeah. I got 2 more, so I just want to work my way in. Avengers. So this is the flagship one. Of course, this is Mark Waid and Del Mundo with that beautiful Del Mundo art. This one is Thor. She has lost her hammer. She's been banished to another realm, which I'm sure ties into...
I see the shield on the front. Yeah.
Yeah, so it must tie into the secret empire. But of course, so as I open it, instantly you think Weird World. I mean, it's got that beautiful Del Mundo working. So she's on this world. They mentioned there's this other godlike creature that will punish them if they don't harvest. And basically, he's destroyed the civilization down to the point where it's very easy for him to take care of. They struggle, and by struggling is the only way they can live. So, he doesn't worry about rebellion. So, of course, Thor has to go and destroy this monster. It's very touching. This was great. This is also an issue you could just pick up and enjoy. Jane Foster Thor is worried. She doesn't have the hammer, so she should be reverting back. But she's not. So wherever she's at, doesn't have to worry about that either. So I don't know if it's going to freeze time for her. And, that she can do whatever she needs to. She doesn't have to worry about the outside world's magic affecting her. Beautiful Del Mundo art. Beautiful Del Mundo art. It was a good story. At the end, there's a sacrifice that she has to make, which results in either her going back to Earth or defeating the bad guy. So I'm pretty sure as a Thor, you can figure out what she chose. Which I think is going to keep her out of the secret empire storyline from what I saw. The next issue of Avengers is number 10. Yeah. And that is like the Dark Avengers, the evil Avengers, the ones I like. I mean, it's a couple of bad guys, with Doc Ock, Taskmaster, Black Ant. Morrissey, he's singing in here too.
Nice.
So it'll be interesting to see it because I'm not 100% following Secret Empire, but
sure, this
is also good. This was a good one issue if people really want to pick it up, especially for that beautiful, beautiful Del Mundo art.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always tempting when you get that kind of eye candy for sure.
Yeah. And I thought Phil Noto was going to be on it from now on. I think he just did what he needed to for Del Mundo to catch up. So
probably.
But I'm trying to remember in the solicit. Yeah, in the solicit, it's still Del Mundo. So Del Mundo doing bad guy Avengers? Hell yeah. I mean, I'm on it for the art. The Wade stories, Wade's good. The story was fine. I didn't think it was the best story I've ever read, but I'm on it for the art. So I'll stay.
Serviceable and not offensive, so the art makes it work, right? Right. Cool.
What we would call a Marvel story.
Right. Okay. There you go. So the other Marvel book I picked up this week was Hawkeye. This is issue number 8. We get to see kind of the aftermath of Kate meeting her father. So the story is told in 2 ways. One, kind of what happened last night and what's going on now. You know, what happened last night was she had fought through all these guys. She gets to what she thought was going to be Madame Mask. Yeah, Madame Mask. And ends up being her father. And she's like, she's accusing him of being a supervillain, you know, that he works for Madame Mask. And he's like, I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. And it's like, well, you know what I mean then? Well, and she's freaked out because he's got a younger body. So I guess Madame Max is kind of like in the business of like making clones and then putting people in newer bodies or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what they've done with her father. So her father is almost the same age as her now. Okay. And she's just like, this is not as like weird. You know, she has this, she doesn't know what, because I mean, she doesn't know what's happened to her mother. She kind of wants to ask, but she doesn't really want dad to tell her. At the same time, she's just gonna figure it out for herself. So she's dealing with the whole kind of dad issues, being a supervillain kind of thing. And he's got a superpower. He can kind of suggest that you do stuff. And so she's kind of, she's fighting that. And he's talking about how the fact that, you know, whereas Madame Mask is always trying to do these clones and all this genetic work so she can have superpowers, and she's always failed. Well, what she doesn't know is that it's just not in her DNA. Somewhere in the Bishop DNA, there's the ability to have superpowers, and that's why he has a superpower. But she's always going to be worthless because she doesn't have it in her DNA or whatever. Which I as he's saying, I'm like, yeah, so what? I mean, that hasn't got anything to do with anything. End of the book, we find out that Madame Mask has had him bugged and everything around him bugged, and she's listening in on it. She's like, ah. So she's still clearly the ultimate bad guy at the end of this, I think. Because they've been kind of walking around the outskirts of her manipulating stuff and whatnot through these 8 issues. So while that backstory, we're getting all that, we're also going forward with a girl has shown up on, you know, on Hawkeye's doorstep to hire her as a private investigator, possibly superhero, you know, because her father's disappeared. And so she's starting that adventure too. I said, I continue to really like it. I like Kate Bishop, Hawkeye anyway. I just really like the character. Kelly Thompson continues to do a great job of portraying the character in a way that I like. It's kind of a mix between the last 2 writers that have used the character, between Matt Fraction and Karen Gillian. She's kind of walks somewhere in the middle of that, and I think it does a really great job. The artist, Leonardo Romero, has his own style, but they do a lot. They spend a lot of time. It's kind of in the style of Aja, who did the Hawk Guy, you know, the Matt Fraction Aja run. It's a lot of it is that kind of a style. I mean, she'll walk into a room and she'll make a comment about, you know, people in California always wear, and then it'll have all these little pictures, these little, you know, highlighted things that she's noting the different stuff, you know. So lots of times she'll go into a room and she'll note the clues. Those are all kind of elements that were used in the, in that run of Hawkeye. And so they kind of use that here too, which I like that. I think it's kind of a cool, smart way to move us, the reader, across a page or whatever of what we're looking at, or quickly inform us on, you know, different stuff and whatnot. So like I said, I continue to really enjoy it. I love the covers. Can't remember who the cover artist is, but these kind of,
I think even that title is smart. I mean, with both the magnifying glass and the arrow.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, she is a private detective. I mean, that's supposed to be her, you know, her day job kind of a thing. Julian Tortino Tedesco is the cover artist. So I always like the covers too. But
I also like the allowing them to progress the character. I mean, her name is Hawkeye. She's really taken it and ran with it. They allow the book to be just her. It's not, you know, She-Hawk or, you know, whatever.
Right.
You know, it's just good. I like that. I've always liked Kate when she was in the Young Avengers too. So
yeah, but so we get our, you know, our Madame Mask there at the end, plotting she doesn't care about this other, you know, about Mr. Bishop or whatever, or what he had to say. No. Just the whole fact, this reveal that, oh, it's DNA that's the issue. So she's going to do some more manipulating to make this next issue this wonderful cover of her dropping. Yeah, she's carrying masks and she's dropping them, and they each have different expressions on them. Just really kind of cool looking. So,
are those kind of 3-story arcs, or is it like a full 5-story arc?
No, it really is. I mean, there's a you know, for me, I like this kind of storytelling. You've got some major plot point that's this big kind of umbrella, and then you got these little adventures that she's going on that touch on that. They're like the webbing, like the tangles of an umbrella to get you to actually get the whole umbrella of a story. And that's kind of what this is. So, we had like the last like 2 or 3 issues. She was hanging out with Jessica Jones. They were chasing down a dragon lady kind of thing. Before that, there was like, 3 or 4 issues of, a girl had been abducted by a stalker and this kind of, cult that was using some Madame Mask type technology type stuff that was messing with them and whatnot. So, so it's all and each of these little adventures, less so with the Jessica Jones one, but the other ones have all kind of interconnected to get us this bigger picture. She's charging forward with her father. She's trying to figure out what's happened to her mother. And then of course, Madame Mask is dogging her, in the background. So yeah. So you do feel like you've read kind of a story. Oh, that's there. And then you pay attention, each of these little parts. Oh, it's this bigger thing's going on too. And I like that kind of storytelling because I can feel like it's not being drug out. I've read something, reasonably short. It has some sort of a resolution, but like all good serialized work, there's also this other thing that makes me, interested in the bigger picture that's going on too. So,
yeah.
And not muddied down or anything by the rest of the Marvel universe and whatever is going on in it. So there's, I'm not getting a Secret Empire tie-in or any of that sort of stuff there. I mean, people from the Marvel universe show up, so you feel like she's still in it. It's Jessica Jones. Lucky the pizza dog is now hanging with her. So there's stuff that keeps, like I said, keeps it tied into the Marvel universe, but not the plot line's not polluted. The story's not polluted by somebody's event or crossover or whatever.
That's always made me very interested in like how their contracts work out. If they say, you're on 6 titles, and then if an event comes up, you must, or when they write it, they say, I have this storyline of 6 books and I will not be in your, if they have to do anything different money-wise with that, or I've always just been interested in that idea of it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's based on contract. I know like the people who sign exclusives, when they're signing that exclusive, they're really signing an exclusive that says, I am going to work on X number of books or X number of pages. And they're exclusive until they reach that page limit. Yeah. However that comes about, and because you're exclusive and you're work for hire, to some degree, you're kind of, we're going to have you do this book. And that's what you're doing. I mean, you're an employee, because you are work for hire. It's not your own job. You're working for somebody else. You're just an employee, so until you hit that limit, you're still kind of under contract, which then leads to some interesting things where they could just not give you a book for a long time. You can't work for the other big companies, but you're also not working. Yeah. There's a dark side to the signing the exclusive that is a whole other thing. So yeah, I don't know. And I'm sure some of these people are probably told, well, either you can do it or we're going to pay somebody else to do it and you're not going to get paid while this is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you go, I'm assuming you go, well, paycheck is nice. So you write the tie-in crossover or whatever it's going to be, I would guess. Yeah. So, yeah.
Because it just makes me interested. So Mark Waid is writing, this loose tie-in or, whatever tie-in to the books. But, obviously they want this Kate Bishop story that's going well. So, yeah. I don't know. It's cool to think about those kind of things.
Yeah, sure. How does it work? Yeah.
Yeah. So long as it keeps working out well for us.
Right. Go ahead. What else you got?
Nick Fury, number 4. I will be interested to see if this ever touches the Secret Empire, because once again, this is just another one and done. It's great that way. I like the idea of was it James Robinson's writing that it's just another Bond adventure. Nick Fury Jr. must go to Atlantis to stop a. Well, I guess it almost ties in. There's a Hydra agent who is going to destroy something there. Of course, they can't tell Namor because Namor's not going to listen. So Nick Fury puts on this goo or whatever that makes him look like an Atlantean. He can breathe underwater. But as he's getting hit, it's cracking, and you can see his skin underneath. And it's like, yeah, you only have a limited amount of time. And at one point, he gets knocked unconscious, and he comes to, and they're like, "How many minutes was it? Because I only have like an hour to do this." And I mean, it's just beautiful ACO art. I am still once again surprised on his just pumping this out. It's beautiful. It is my James Bond freakathon with all the wonderful, jumps and cuts that ACO knows how to do. Just made for one more good book. I mean, a solid one-shot adventure. That little fun Marvel pill that they always give me, and I will always eat. So
yeah. It looks really cool. It looks really cool. So this is issue 5, 4?
4.
Okay. I'll be curious to see how many more issues they have him do, because it seemed to me like when he was on Midnighter, they considered him the main artist, but about 3 or 4 issues seemed to be about the Max, and then somebody else was on the book for a while he did some more of it. So I don't know. Yeah.
And the thing too I think about is, I mean, does James Robinson have a bunch of ideas that he just pitched 5 Nick Fury books and that'll be it? Is this supposed to be a big overarching theme? Because I'm loosely seeing it. I mean, it's a spy versus spy, that from the old Mad comic books. So there's Hydra and there's Nick, and he has his villain, and they can do this, they can do it for forever if he's got enough little silly adventures for him. So,
and hopefully, to some degree, that's the case. I mean, I think that's one of the things that the comics are missing. We don't have that just to kind of consume it as it is. I need to go pick those up. I mean, I went to go pick them up and I couldn't find number 1, so I chose not to get him. I should just go get them, because it doesn't sound like I need number 1 as far as reading the story goes. Yeah. So, I mean, from a collecting purpose, it'd be nice to have all of them if I'm gonna collect it in singles. But at the same time, it sounds really cool, and I love the artist. So, yeah, cool. Mighty. I don't have any other Marvel books, just those.
That was it for me. I mean, it was a decent Marvel week for me. I was happy with it.
Yep. Like I said, I don't get tons of Marvel books, but pretty much all the Marvel books I get, I really do enjoy. I enjoy them quite a bit. So, Marvel news. I'm assuming you went and saw the Web Slinger, right?
I did, and I did love it. I mean, I liked it. Definitely the best Spider-Man movie out there. I would also say, compared to some of the others, it was a great movie for a family. Peter Parker, as a true high school kid, doing high school stuff. It was good. I mean, I would think a lot of Spider-Man fans, purists, might be happy for that aspect, because I think that was the draw for a lot of people going into it.
Right. So they went back and embraced what he was to start out with, without retelling his origin again and stuff. They didn't stall it out by doing that silliness, but still took him back to, being in high school, the original Parker.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it was great. I mean, there was little blurbs here and there about the history, bit by a spider, Uncle Ben's not there, no spoilers. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it was nice that there was just the little things that you needed to fill in the little gaps, or just to remind somebody we are keeping these points of continuity. So I thought that was excellent.
So how much of the rest of the Marvel universe is in the movie? Right. So
that's where it can be an argument. As you saw from the poster, I mean, you see Avengers Tower. It does play a huge role in the movie. Tony Stark plays a huge role in the movie. I mean, he's Peter, as we all know, is on that Stark scholarship, which is being Spider-Man. So I mean, that was the thing. I could see somebody not like it for that reason, or be upset that, I mean, especially if Sony is going to jump away from all the other Marvel movies, this really did feel like it could have solely come from everybody else's Marvel movie.
Well, they'd be crazy to jump completely away, because everybody who thinks they need to see all the movies because we've been sold on the idea that they're all continuity and they're all tied into each other and we need to watch them in a particular order and whatnot. Sony is taking in income from the work that Marvel and Disney did with their movies.
Yes. Yes.
They'd be nuts to sever that now. I mean, I think this is, from a pure money standpoint, is pretty smart of Sony, I think. You know, I don't know, what the background contracts are as far as what does Marvel get out of it, because I'm assuming they get something out of it. I don't know if it's just the fact they get to use the character too, or what it is, but that's, that, to me, that's pretty smart of Sony, I think, to allow that bleed over, because there's plenty of people who are going to go this that maybe not have been interested in Spider-Man by himself, but knowing that Tony Stark is there, that character's there, it makes it feel like it's part of the Avengers stuff, because Spider-Man technically is part of the Avengers or whatever. People will go and see it. They may not have seen it otherwise. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there was a lot of playing around with that. It was excellent. They definitely tied it very closely to Civil War, Captain America: Civil War, because there was actual footage from that movie that was returned to this movie.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that was his first interaction. Everybody wonders, what is Spider-Man doing? A lot of good acting. I know there was a lot of people angered at the casting. I thought everybody did a great job. It was very fun. And it definitely was. It was that great, warm-hearted movie, the kind of Spider-Man thing I wanted. I don't really know that I had any major negatives. You could pick at little things.
Sure.
Sure. There was secondary characters that would talk about Captain America, Black Widow, because of...
Did a lot of name dropping, yeah.
Yeah. So, it definitely is tied in. So, I don't know how Sony thinks they could steer away now from that, but I know with some of their additional stuff they want to do, they want to set up their own universe, but...
Sure. Well, I can see that leaving the Spider-Man tied in to some degree, then having whatever else they plan on doing, and then have Spider-Man touch that, and that gets people thinking that somehow because that's the bridge that they're all touching together, kind of a thing. So it's a shared universe, even if it's clearly not really a shared universe. Interesting.
And with everything that the commercials did show, I know Wednesday's Comics podcast they're always upset because they show so much in commercials now. I think there is still a lot left on the meat a lot of meat left on the bone of the story. So I was very happy with it.
Good, because I always wonder about that too. You see so much and you're like going, okay, I've seen the big action scenes clearly. I've seen the laugh scenes where he has to sit there and listen to Captain America talk about how he shouldn't be in detention. Once you've seen all those commercials, you're thinking, okay, what's left, to see, kind of a thing. So yeah. Well, good.
One more thing, at least in my showing, there was a 10-minute running of Valeria, the land of 100 or 10,000 planets or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, and it started with the French director saying, here is the beginning of my movie. I hope you watch it. I hope you enjoy it. And so, it did. It started rolling. It rolled the credits. Like, here's all the films that made this. And then they start talking about how the 100 or 1,000 planets were constructed by showing, two capsules joined together and then a space station, and finally aliens come. So it's world building in the first 10 minutes. So all the commercials you see of the two little police pirates or whatever they are that are rescuing the whole world, they were not even were in it. So you get this whole different idea on what the movie is, because it was like, it was the beginning of The Fifth Element, really. It was just like, here's our planet. And you're like, well, that was really beautiful, colorful, crazy, and fun. I liked it. And then it's like, oh, it's all about these two kids saving the world. I didn't think that's what that was.
Right. Oh, okay, cool. Huh, interesting.
So, yeah, that was the wild part. And especially 10 minutes, because you get all your other previews and everything, and then 10 minutes of another movie. That's the thing that started making it seem long. So
Interesting. Alrighty, let's see. Other Marvel news. I hear that Marvel is printing out some sort of a Bible that's going to tell you to understand the numbering.
Okay.
For all these books that are going to change numbering and whatnot.
All right. I did see somebody on Twitter comment because they were trying to figure out how they got to the number of, I think, Avengers or new, because it was something like, was this many runs and it was because it's the Champions whatever crossover one they're doing that has this huge number on it, and they're like the new Avengers were considered part of it.
Oh,
yeah, it's tough how they figure.
So anything that had Avengers in the title, they're just going to claim that was part of what would have been part of Avengers proper, huh?
Yeah, if I remember correctly. Like I said, it was someone's Twitter little thing in there.
Yeah, nice.
That is interesting because it's going to be tough on a lot of them because they're mentioned single shots and stuff.
Well, I just think it's who's going to. I think even the diehard go to the comic book store every week person is going to be fatigued by all of that. I would think, let alone what the heck a new reader, how a new reader takes that all in. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's all gonna be interesting when it actually comes out. But it seems like every week there's some other little thing about it that it's some sort of highlight that this is how it's gonna make it so great, and you get it and you go, yeah, how? This is just adding another stinker on top of the stinker you just gave us the week before. I don't know.
Well, and the thing is there's a lot of people. I know John on Demand, huge continuity guy. He is excited for some of this, and other people that are. Marvel has run a very solid, long-running universe with some resets and stuff like that. But it's been very interesting to see how this huge run ends up going for them. So,
yeah, I guess what it comes down to me is the numbering doesn't matter so much as the fact is it doesn't seem like anything's really changed. So I don't know. Yeah. That's the part that I'm curious about. But yeah, any other Marvel type news?
I did see that the Hulk book is going to go back to the She-Hulk book.
Right, I saw that, and I also saw ads in my Marvel books for, like Totally Awesome Hulk and Hulk are together or something like that.
Yeah, yep, that was in the Legends part of it, or the
Legacy.
Legacy part of it. Yeah, thank you. It's because it looked like there was team-ups.
It's Generations, right?
Generations, thank you.
Yeah. Banner Hulk and the Totally Awesome Hulk #1. That's the title? Banner Hulk and Totally Awesome Hulk #1.
Oh yeah. All right. So you're looking at that middle insert.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. The one that's in my Hawkeye.
All right. I got this one in the Avengers. You have to get the good books, Travis, to get all the information.
Oh, okay. See, I avoid those, so I don't get them.
I think these are actually just one shots. The Unworthy Thor, Mighty Thor, Phoenix, Jean Grey, Banner Hulk, Totally Awesome Hulk, Wolverine, and all new Wolverine, Hawkeye and Hawkeye. Right. But I did see also in something that there was going to be like Laura and Wolverine's son, Daken, or Daken, are going to do a team up too. So, and I think it was called Wolverines or something like that. But
well, if Banner dead, I'm curious how that works.
Bring him back.
Not curious enough to buy it, but I'm
clone him from another world, time jump him. What can't?
Because I'm not getting any of those.
Right.
I was tempted to get the Hawkeye one just because it's written by the same person who's been doing the Hawkeye stuff. So I don't know.
Right.
I think so. I'm looking at the comments. Gotham Central. Lucas saying Amazing Spider-Man should in no way be considered part of Marvel's cinematic universe. The movie appears to be good. Maybe, just maybe, the book can follow suit, but I doubt it will. Oh, rumor has it, speaking of Amazing Spider-Man, rumor has it that Nick Spencer is going to take over writing Amazing Spider-Man.
They're going to change it to Hydra Spider-Man, though, right?
I have no idea. I know some people are saying it. If you've read Superior Foes of Spider-Man, you know, you should think this is awesome. I don't know about that, because those are two completely different kinds of books. Unless they're going to turn Amazing Spider-Man into a giant kind of a smart-ass joke book with, you know, a cool payoff at the very end of it, but that's like 17, 18, 19 issues in. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that how you can say the Superior Spider-Man. If you like that, that means that Amazing Spider-Man is going to be a good book. Because by no means was any of the Captain America stuff, Sam Wilson or Rogers, either one of it was anything like Superior Foes of Spider-Man was. I mean, they're two completely different kinds of things. So I don't know. I don't know what that. But I mean, that's, like I said, that's pure rumor coming from, you know, the notorious rumor mill website is my understanding of where that comes from. But as much as I would like, oh, hey, somebody else is on Amazing Spider-Man, maybe I'll give it a try. No, not if that's what we're getting for a, you know, for a replacement. That doesn't interest me either. So I don't know. There's been some other rumors flying around of some other people writing some stuff too. So we'll see.
Touching on that Nick Spencer information, Secret Empire #8 is going to go up to 48 pages and will be at $5. So these things keep changing. It's things when I hear it pop out of nowhere makes me go, that doesn't sound good though.
Yeah. Well, it just feels like editorially this stuff should have been mapped out so far in advance that how can you suddenly have that kind of a, oh, we've got to change the story for some reason or something. That's what it feels to me like. It always feels like something screwed up somewhere.
Because it just seems like, if I was designing a car, all of a sudden I tell you that the wheels have to be 2 inches bigger. That seems like a problem, you know?
Right.
Because that seems to affect a whole bunch of stuff.
Right. With that many with that many moving parts, and it's kind of the universe is built around this event kind of a thing. So that really all kind of jacks all, you know, kinds of stuff up. I think it'd be different if it's like an independent book and you're writing it, the creators are making, you know, a creator-owned book, and somewhere along the way they suddenly go, oh no, we like this idea better, and they go with that. That's cool, because they're the only, you know, it's just this few handful of people involved, as opposed to what the big two are. Right.
Also, lastly, I heard Jeremy Renner injured both of his arms doing some stunts for the Avengers movie.
Okay, remind me which character that is, because that actor's not
Hawkeye.
Oh, they still have him in the movie?
They still have him, and
I thought he was retired.
Yeah, no. Evidently, the next one, of course, will be the big fight, so they have to bring everybody back. He's also
his arms.
Yeah, and one of them might be like a break. In an interview for another movie that he's working on, his arm is in a sling and the other arm is like, you know, kind of wrapped up, and he's like, oh no, he goes, it changes a little bit of this and that, but you know, most of the Avengers is filmed, and I don't know. It doesn't sound good when you still have to do 2 other movies and, you know, one arm is in a sling, and so I'll be interested to see how bad. I'm trying to find that interview to see what his arms look like. So
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I want that movie to go good. So I mean, I like Jeremy Renner as an actor. So
yeah, well, I don't know the problem with the character. I just think that's it. You know, because they kind of hinted that maybe he was retiring or something. Didn't they in the movies kind of imply that he's going to live off in his house, you know, off on the side of the meadow with his wife and kids?
He chose a side, and it wasn't Tony's. So
well, that's true. That's true. He did choose the right side. So and Rez Reeds is briefly popping in, saying hi.
Rez.
Enjoying her hot dogs or whatever, right? I think she was supposed to be grilling tonight. That's why she abandoned us, so she can grill.
That is good. That is a good way to have a weekend. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. I can't think of any other Marvel stuff. You got any other Marvel?
No, that was it for my Marvel news.
Okay, so you roll on to some DC books then. It's gonna be just me, right?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Because you're just a DC hater. Let's see. Let's start here. Superman issue number 26. So not written by Tomasi. No artwork by Patrick Gleason. Not even the spastic artwork by, 100 inkers. Morrissey and Galwinski are the creators on the book. Morrissey's basically, he did that. You'll love this. I mean, this will make you excited. He did that. He did the story. I believe he wrote the Killer Croc story in that Most Wanted thing. We just got the Suicide Squad Most Wanted. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry then.
I'm pretty sure that he wrote that. Did he write that? Either he wrote that one or he wrote the Captain Boomerang one.
It didn't matter then either way.
Exactly, right? I mean, I've read some independent work of his I like, so the Rocher Limit, I enjoyed most of that.
Yeah.
Any rate, so he wrote that. The artist, he a lot of stuff from Copperhead. He did the first run of Copperhead kind of stuff. He's been on some other things too. Yeah. Anyway, so this was an okay-ish issue at best. It's kind of I think it's kind of a one and done. These two trying to figure out how to work together. Superman realizing that John, his son, does not need to do everything exactly the same way that he does it. Basically, it's got some Pa Kent flashbacks in it. As much as I really have been enjoying all of the interaction between father and son that Tomasi does, that has been really good. This felt much more heavy-handed and ham-fisted father-son comic issue moment. So that was kind of a bummer as far as that goes, because Tomasi has done it so smoothly and what seems effortlessly. This felt much more chunky. So, yeah, could give that issue a miss. Nightwing issue number 24, another blockbuster issue. This is all set inside of a submarine, Tiger Shark submarine. All the villains are out to kill Nightwing. Originally, they had him. They were going to test weapons on him. He escapes. He's running through the submarine. Of course, they can't shoot big blasters at him inside a submarine because they'll sink. So Tiger Shark is offering all the other, like every odd supervillain you can think of is there. I mean, even Shadow from Green Arrow is there because they're out there to buy these super weapons that Tiger Shark is selling. And right. Tiger Shark is offering a year free worth of weapons.
Okay.
Whoever brings Nightwing's head back. So right. He spends the entire time running through a submarine, fighting bad guys, and the fond memories of what it was like to be Robin versus what it's like to be Nightwing now. He has to escape to this escape pod. Blockbuster shows up, who basically turncoated on him last issue. Last issue, they were supposed to be buddies. Suddenly he's not. He really is the villain. Now we find out, he's not really the villain, but he kind of is, because he used that way to get all these villains all in the same place. He's going to blow the whole submarine up. He's planned a bomb. Bomb's going to go off and just blow everybody up and kill them all. And of course, Nightwing's going to stop the bomb, even though they're bad guys. And Blockbuster kind of gives him this line about the fact that, who's the real hero? Me, who's really going to get rid of these people who are plaguing, Budapest, not Budapest, but Bloodhaven, or you, who's it going to be? Kind of thing. And at the end of it, it looks like he's blown up. It looks like the submarine blows up. It looks like Nightwing blows up. It looks like they all blow up dead. So, I don't know.
I know you haven't been happy with it because this isn't the same person who wrote the first arc, was it?
Yes. Tim Seeley's been on the book the entire time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just it feels to me like now we're just kind of sputtering and telling stereotypical superhero stories and I don't necessarily got a problem with stereotypical superhero stories, but if I'm going to read a stereotypical superhero story, I want it to be with a character I really, really like, then I don't mind it so much. I've never been a huge fan of Nightwing anyway. I'm more of a fan of Seeley and King. Did Grayson, loved Grayson a lot. I've warmed up to Dick Grayson prior to all of this when he was Batman for a while. So I always kind of give him a shot now. but still not a real big Nightwing fan. Initially, it was the Nightwing run was pretty decent. Now, like I said, we're venturing into stereotypical territory. I get it twice a month, and yeah,
that has been a problem I found, and I'm not picking up a lot of DC books because if there's little issues, getting little issues twice a month makes them seem bigger.
Right. It's magnified. It feels like so you just can't. You aren't given time to forget it and just remember the fun stuff because you're reminded of it again. So anyway, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not super excited by this. You know, the art is okay. It's just kind of okay. So I don't know. I'm like I said, I just kind of.
And that's too bad. I really enjoyed the first 2 arcs of that. I read that on the Hoopla, and I really enjoyed that storyline. So.
Right. Well, I think the art was better then, and it still felt like there was this kind of focused. We're trying to say something besides just, you know, this is the plot. I mean, it felt like we were talking about, you know, Dick Grayson. What does it mean to be him, and those kinds of things with that whole stuff with him, you know, dealing with Predator or whatever. So, but yeah, I don't know. It just was not a fan.
Right.
Not. I mean, I just, like I said, it's kind of blasé. So I don't know. I keep saying I'm not going to get it much longer, but I keep ordering it. So who knows? All right. The last DC book I picked up this week is a Batman issue number 26. The War of Jokes and Riddles issue number 2. I see in the comments that Luke Gotham Central is waiting on a faded breath to hear my thoughts on Batman 26. Crystal Ball says I liked it. I loved it. I mean, like I said, part of it is I had an epiphany about how King is writing, with talking with some other people about the book and whatnot, that it kind of sank in how some of it is. But above and beyond that, this is just a really cool story. The first issue was really awesome. The Janet artwork in it is brilliant. In this issue, we get the Riddler, who last issue was shot, you know, through and through by the Joker. In this issue, he gets kind of patched up, but he's still got like a big old gnarly scar in his stomach. This Riddler is psycho. This Riddler is every bit as nuts as the Joker is. He takes a knife, carves the rest of the question mark in his chest. So now he's got this, he's this really handsome looking guy, but he's got this literally physically carved question mark in his chest. He's on a tirade to go after stuff. He's going after Joker hard because Joker, of course, went hard on him. They're both trying to off each other because they can't stand the idea of one of them might get the one up on taking Batman. They've completely forgotten about Batman now. So this issue is both sides wiping out low-hanging fruit villains and bad guys in the process of trying to get to each other. Joker calls up Falcone and goes, "You got an hour to kill the Riddler, or I'm going after your mother." You know, and Falcone's like, "You piece of, you blah, blah, how you dare you talk about it?" And Joker hangs up. And he hangs up, he looks around, and there's all of his crew are standing there, and he goes, yells at him, "Why you just stand there? We've only got an hour. Kill that bastard." You know, they rush off. They all get killed trying to kill the Riddler. So they show back up at the house, and Joker's sitting there. He's at Falcone's desk. He's got a whole row of teeth laid out across the thing in the shape of a smile. And it's like, "Oh, look, it's your mom's teeth. Your mom's teeth are making a smile. Isn't that special?" Of course, Falcone's freaking out. Joker pulls out a gun and shoots almost everybody in the room except for the Penguin, because the Penguin's not the Penguin yet. The Penguin's just this kind of lackey hanging around Falcone at this point. And he's like, "You're the new guy in charge. You know, you're going to funnel all of Falcone's money into going after the Riddler. That's all it is." And as he's walking off, the Penguin is going, Cobblepot's going, "But, you know, his mom lives in Metropolis. That's 3 hours away. You called an hour to go to say, if you don't have this done, I'm going after your mom." So he had already pulled the teeth 2+ hours before he called to say, "I'm going to hurt your mom," you know, because he knew it wasn't going to work. So both of these guys, the Riddler and the Joker, are both gathering up other people around them and basically creating super teams, because everybody starts to realize, you know what, if you don't pick a side, you're just dead. Both guys are going to kill you. So there's these two great splash pages at the end of Janen's artwork. One is the Riddler and a whole bunch of villains around him, and one is the Joker with a bunch of villains around him. So, and the Riddler and not the Riddler, but the Joker in this is amazing because he is he doesn't smile. He tries, but he can't get a smile. I mean, here's this great 8-page. The newscasters are talking about the Riddler. You know, it's all about the Riddler. The Riddler's getting all the headlines. This mystery about the Riddler. You know, he can't quite get a smile. He fakes a smile here, but then he's back to being angry again. He just can't maintain a smile. But this kind of slicked back haired, you know, long faced Joker is just fabulous in it. But let's see here. I'm gonna see if I can find that splash page. So yeah, so you got the Riddler and his potential crew of villains. So you got, you know, like Two-Face and Killer Croc and Clayface and Deathstroke and Zaz and Firefly and Scarecrow there. Looks like him. Now, whether we'll see these people actually in the book, I have no idea. I kind of doubt it. And the Joker, you got like Solomon Grundy, Mr. Freeze, the Mad Hatter, Ventriloquist, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, you know, Deadshot, Cluemaster, Man-Bat. But I just, the art is just amazing in this book. I bet. So I absolutely love it. I love the idea of it. I don't care that it's told in the past. You know, that's something we've kind of all talked about. You know, we're mining the past instead of moving the character forward. Batman's a character you can't move forward a whole lot anyway, I don't think. And this continues to be a story of basically Bruce Wayne is retelling this to Selina Kyle, kind of coming clean about something, about this whole thing. So kind of looking forward to that whole thing. But Batman comments in here the fact that the whole thing's out of his control. All he's doing right now is tagging the bodies. I mean, he's just basically recording who it was that was killed and who they were. You know, because through this thing, as these kind of low-level guys are getting mowed down, you know, he says, oh, it's this guy. And, you know, he's got a wife. He's got, you know, kids. He may be working for a criminal, but that's because he needs the money because his mom's got cancer. You know, I mean, it's all this different stuff. You know, these people have lives beyond just being thugs, you know, kind of stuff. And so, I don't know. I really liked it. I will say this about all the DC books this month that I absolutely hate. There's a new Snickers ad. And in this book, the Snickers ad wasn't too bad. But the Snickers ad is this. You know, the Flash, Superman. Well, in my Superman book, which I didn't talk about the Superman book, you're reading Superman, you flip it over, you start reading because I'm like going, wow, where'd the Flash come from suddenly? You know, why is Gorilla God there? And who's the lady wearing the Snickers ad? God damn it. I mean, it's a good looking Snickers ad as far as artwork and stuff goes.
And a really, 2-page spread.
Yes, but really frustrating. And it's the centerfold. It literally is the center of the comic. So
seriously, I can't imagine what that cost.
Yeah. But at any rate, no, I'm seriously digging it though. I like I said, I love everything about it. I love the style of it. The artwork is just been amazing. You can feel the setup. The Joker in this is so much sinister. Gone back to being a sinister Joker, not just cheesily laugh at everything. He does not laugh at everything. When things are not going his way, he's searching for something that's funny and horrifically shooting people to try and find the funny, but he's not finding it. And I love all that aspect of it. So looking over what Luke was saying, he's saying this Joker can end up being excellent or mediocre. Depends on how King wraps it up in the end. I dig the brooding Joker for now, but not long term. Now, see, I like long term brooding Joker. I mean, to me, that feels like he has extra motivation. I mean, there's more to it. He's insane, but this is a scary insane as opposed to just giggling about everything. That insane isn't as intriguing or sinister as what this current Joker ends up being.
This is right before he gets damage tattooed to his forehead.
Yeah, it gets the chrome grill. Yeah, something like that. No, I don't know, but I don't know where this. Like I said, other than the timeline, Batman's been Batman for a year. It's been a year since the 0 year stuff.
Right.
as far as where this Joker fits in the timeline of stuff. But I'm enjoying it. I like it a lot. I think it's interesting. We'll be curious to see, like Lou was saying, we'll be curious to see when we get to the end of this story, how does it all, piece together and come out the other end of it. We'll determine whether or not it's really good all the way through. But right now, I'm enjoying the take on these characters, and that may be because they're moving well away from Batman. It's about these other characters, and I'm enjoying that, as opposed to the bat and the cat thing. So I don't know. We'll see.
I've written a Tom King asking for an entire Solomon Grundy run, just
nice.
of Batman and Grundy. Yep.
I get that.
Yeah,
I love that character. So yeah, that's it for my DC books. So DC type news.
Couldn't think of it right offhand. No.
One of the things I know is the metal books that are coming out and stuff through Snyder and whatnot. They talked the price down. The price has been dropped back down $1, so it's $3.99 instead of $4.99 for the book. I know that's a big deal for some. I'm not getting it. I decided it's an event book. I'm not touching it. I'm not that excited about the creators that are on the book, to be quite honest. Between Zero Year and Robot Bunny Batman, I'm kind of burnt out on Snyder and Capullo together, doing more Batman-ish type stuff. I mean, I know that this spins out into other characters and whatnot, but it is initially Batman centric. So I'm just not particularly interested in that. I did see a little blip where they show, I think a Green Lantern literally pulls out the map of the multiverse that was in Grant Morrison's Multiversity. Run. I mean, they actually take a picture of that, and that's literally what's in it. So we all have the same map that the heroes are using. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. I mean, that's cool in one end, and at the other end, it's like, really? Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. The whole sales pitch.
I will always give props to Snyder on that. I remember when he talked down the Batman, they were going to raise up the price on it $1, and he said, no, let's keep it at where it was at. So I definitely am amazed and think the best of him for doing that. So
right,
because he could. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people who collect Batman would pay the extra $1 for it. So
yeah. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I don't know, really how much influence he has to make that change, but whatever. It sounds good regardless. So that's cool. That aspect of that is really cool. Shoot, I was thinking there was something else and I've forgotten what it was. It must not have been too important. Whatever the case was. So, yeah. You're not going to get that, are you? Do you know?
No.
No, I was just curious.
No.
Just curious. I
get ridiculous sometimes and buy things like that, but I don't see myself being hooked on this one. But who knows? I mean, there might be something in there for some character that I haven't. I mean, they throw the Metal Man in. Heck, maybe I buy a couple issues.
Yeah.
There's a couple characters DC wise. Yeah, I definitely would scoop up money for. So.
Oh, I remember what the other thing was. Sean Gordon Murphy got to announce officially what his Batman book is. If you follow him on Twitter as an artist, he's been kind of showing just like little single panels, little bits and pieces of brooding, Batman or Commissioner Gordon or the Gotham skyline kind of stuff. So later on this fall-ish, I believe it is, I want to say it's like Batman White Knight or something like that. Is what it's entitled, and it's a Joker story, which of course initially those of us who are tired of the Joker go, oh, but Joker is gentlemanified. I mean, he drops the total crazy. Isn't the abusive boyfriend anymore? Harley Quinn's in it. I mean, he basically said Harley kind of gets what she wants out of it. She gets pudding, but not hurt her pudding. So There'll be. I mean, I know I'll get that book. There's no doubt in my mind. The story could be, whatever, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it for the art because the few bits and pieces he showed of it look pretty amazing. And so I dig his art, so I'll be getting it for the art alone. So that was the other big announcement. I remember them saying that it was gonna, a lot of people asked a lot of questions and he didn't answer a lot to it. So I don't know how much you can really, talk about at this point. And it's not like it's a official solicitation of any sort. He has got to be able to say, hey, this is when it's titled and this is kind of when it's going to be out. So I know he's got a lot of it already in the can. The idea is that he will basically literally have it completed before it ever gets, starts actually coming out.
That's what I like to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not going to get a delay then.
Yeah.
So
things like that can make me purchase a series.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be excited for that. That's going to be some good art. So I can't think of any other DC stuff. So I guess roll on to some independent books.
Sure.
What you want to talk about?
I picked up Rat Queens. Of course, for those D&D lovers, we see the Mimic here. Our group of young fighting ladies of magic and sword decide they're going to explore a temple, and of course they set off about every trap that they can. They get in every antic that is possible. Once again, I just love it. I mean, it's just been a great group with the girls. The writing is still amazing, and I love the artwork. There is a small 2-page or 3-page backup story in this, and it's just fun. I mean, each time they do it, it's just a silly little one. On this one, the fighter gets hit with an arrow and asks the healer to, heal her. And she's like, well, all right, you have to fill out this HR paperwork. And she's like, and while doing it, she gets shot with another one. She goes, and now you have to do this one on top of that. So it's just the fun silliness of that. And, I just enjoy it. I like the story. It's just fun to pick up and read every time. It is a larger continuing arc where Vi, the dwarven fighter, is struggling with her brother on, who they were as children. Now they're out of the home and they're interacting with each other in real life. What does that mean? So even that, it's sometimes remarkably good and interesting and fun and smart. So I like it.
Cool. Right on. Very good. Very good. Let's see. I want to talk about The Unsound, Cullen Bunn, quote unquote horror book. Jack T. Cole on art on this. It's a suspense book, really, is kind of what it is. I mean, it's got the first issue was a lot of build up and kind of intensity around some crazy stuff going on in this for this girl. It's her first day at this mental hospital. The mental hospital is basically been condemned multiple times in the past. It's been reopened, so it has this kind of sense of, ooh, there's old stuff here. Clearly bad stuff happened back in the day when there was a lot less regulations and control over what was going on. And these places were more like, torture chambers and prisons than places for people to get better in. At the end of the last issue, she was kind of attacked or accosted by these 3 patients. So this issue starts out with her retelling to her boss, the head of the hospital, what had happened. It was these patients, one of them had her fingers chewed off, the ends of her fingers chewed off. She was dripping blood everywhere. And the boss is saying, look, we don't have a patient like that. We just look through all our wards. Nobody's missing the end of their fingers or bleeding. And she's like, look, I'm not. And the guy keeps asking these questions, and the questions feel like questions that you'd ask somebody that you think is maybe unhinged. And she keeps saying, look, are you treating me like a patient? I am not a patient. I work here. I am not crazy. So there's a lot of kind of stuff going on. And while they're having this kind of push and pull conversation, I mean, the guy even offers to give, here, why don't you take some of these pills? It'll help calm you down. And she's like slapping the pills away from him and saying, look, I don't need drugs. I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. There's problems in this place. We're understaffed, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. While that's going on, chaos is starting to ensue throughout the hospital. As he is saying, oh, we're fine. I mean, we're understaffed, but everything's okay. A patient is knocking over the broken television that doesn't work. They're breaking out the TV screen. you know, they've got glass in their hands now, and they're starting to stab at each other and stuff. One guy's walking around with, you know, glass stuck between his fingers, like if you were faking you were Wolverine, and they're going at each other. Suddenly, razor blades are kind of raining down from who knows. Because the first issue, she keeps finding razor blades, you know, your standard straight razors, just kind of setting in odd places. Well, now it's like they're leaking out of the walls, kind of thing. It's like, you know, a la Poltergeist, you know, kind of thing, but it's razor blades coming down. Just all kinds of, you know, nuts stuff going on. Well, the whole place goes crazy. I mean, all of the patients are either attacking each other or attacking the staff. They kind of have to make a break for it. She's got a pepper spray. She pepper sprays some of them, and they think it's like holy water. It's like, oh, she's blessed us. She's blessed us with the crying ointment or whatever kind of thing. Then they escape while they're being all freaky. They run into the character that she met in the first issue that supposedly has been in this prison, not prison, but this mental institution since, you know, way back in the 60s, supposedly. He's too young of a guy for that to be the case. But he has this paper plate that he wears as a mask that he holds up over his face. They end up going down into the bowels of the hospital to try and escape. And this guy gives them all these masks to say, you got to wear these faces, you know, to cover your mask, wear these faces. We're going to go in and we're going to escape because this is how I get in and out of the hospital all the time. And that's where it ends. But it's nuts. I love the artwork by Jack T. Cole. It's really, I think, interesting. The colors are really good in it. The color palette reminds me of like Jody Valeri's color palette for They're Not Like Us. It's more of a kind of a muted, you know, kind of a color, you know, pattern and whatnot. But I do like it for this. It's because when intense things are happening, like entire stuff will go red. This is the supposed patients that talk to her that, you know, the reds and greens and stuff. The shadows work really well and whatnot. But yeah, so they put on these paper plate masks suspiciously going, oh, okay. And they're going to walk through these, what look like standard doors. But when they put the paper plates on, then the doors look like this. It's, you know, they're got these weird cats next to it. There's flies crawling across it. This weird face up above it looks all heavenly. And on the door, it says things like, there are no dancers. The future's a lie. No one was here, not ever. Eat less human flesh. You know, welcome home. All kinds of odd, strange things and whatnot. So I'm really digging it. I like, you know, in this issue, there's more of the kind of gory horror stuff, but it still feels mostly suspenseful. And that's the kind of horror I like, is the, you know, the bump in the night sort of a thing. So very much enjoying that because of that.
And Colin Bunn seems to be writing like 20 or 30 books right now.
He is. He seems to be at a lot of places. He's got this one. He's got an Image book. He's got a Aftershocks book that came out this week, I think. You know, clearly he's writing, you know, the stuff he's writing for Marvel too. So yeah, he's got quite a bit of stuff going right now, which is great. If he can juggle all that, I mean, more power to him. So yeah, for sure. Got any other indie books you want to talk about?
Yep, I got one more, and I was trying to figure out, you know, I'm kind of looking through my Twitter here. I don't know when the last time I got this book is. This is 4 of 5.
Right.
I'm thinking 3 months, 4 months since I got the last one. I'm thinking this is
the last time you got that book, you were on that's before you took your break where you were working.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh man. Okay.
So yeah, so that's what, 5 months?
It's going on, 5-6 months now. Yeah. Oh man. So I wasn't gonna buy it, but it's also 4 or 5, and I flipped through it.
Yeah.
Part of my thing too is, you know, Cho likes to create controversy in the big two and say, "Ooh, I made this girly cover. I have the right to do it," and you know. But then in his own book, he doesn't hardly put anything like that in there.
Damn it.
Except for, I did get this one in here of the Unicorn Centaur Love Fest, where it says, of course, censored so the editorial staff can keep their jobs. So the the book is what you would expect from Cho. It was a little bit weird. I don't know. I felt like he was going to try and decompress it and do longer, but he looks like he's sticking to a 5-issue format. It's weird. It's about Excalibur. It's about this family who's nearly immortal. They wipe out and kill his sister, but now she's back and she's been left frozen in the basement or whatever. And, of course, she's beautiful and busty and whatnot. And they also have released all these magical creatures. So all you see them doing is slaughtering one after another magical creature. Our main guy, Abraham, or Thomas that we see on the cover here, says, I'm going to kill all these people. I will kill Merlin. I will kill the dragon. And then I'm getting Excalibur. And so he's going through all this, and he's killing all these animals, and he's facing a Cyclops that's just beating him and beating him. Finally, one of the army guys hits the Cyclops in the head with a bazooka, basically. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I'm sorry, did you really want to fight him? And so from then on, there's like the bazooka's used 3 or 4 more times. So he picks a joke, and then he just beats that dead horse over and over again. The writing is weak. It should be told more with story or with the art. Mm-hmm. The art is beautiful, Cho, but I don't know if you can only put out 1 book every 6 months. I don't know what you expect out of your fans. So sure. I'm walking the fence back and forth. I guess in 5 more months, 6 more months, I'll get the last one. But like I said, I thought I was done. I thought it was actually over. But no,
everybody forgotten about it, right? That's kinda... Did you have that on your pull?
No, it's actually on the shelf too. So I'm like, all right, there it is on the shelf, and I just looked through it. I'm like, oh, get it, It was a small week. I guarantee you, if this would have been one of my heavier weeks and I had 2 more Marvels, no, I wouldn't have picked it up. But might as well.
Yeah. It's hard as a singles collector when it's that big of a gap, especially that. I mean, you have so few issues, and then to suddenly take a break in the middle of, not a place that seems like you would take a break. That's hard on your single issue readers. Yeah. And
I'm sure it's Boom Studios. So I'm guessing everybody got 1 and 2 and then dropped it, waiting for trade. So
could be. Yeah. Huh.
I don't know. I'm almost embarrassed that I did get it.
Yeah. You're the only one that picked it up. That's the Sleepy Reader. He picked it up. I know that Eric from Longbox Review, I think he picked up too. It's like, I thought this was done. I think that's everybody's kind of comment was done or never going to exist. So
yeah.
Interesting. So for me, kind of staying with the ghost theme of sorts, and the crazy supernatural stuff, briefly talk about There's Nothing There. This is issue number 3, Black Mask Comics. In this issue, we find out who the crazy guy was that was in the last year's issue that was in his room with all his weird eyeballs, crazy eyeballs around and whatnot. He's clearly the bad guy that ultimately is going to be these ghosts what seems to be her as ghosts that are kind of haunting her. She finally stops long enough to have enough of a conversation with one of them to kind of get a sense of kind of possibly what's going on. They're all victims of a particular guy who basically makes people disappear. He's actually a supernatural spirit. Can't remember what he's called. Typically, they are, when it's told in the fairy tales, he snatches children, but actually he snatches anybody, kind of thing. He's not exclusive to just children. So he once he gets an eye on you, then he comes and snatches you, kind of thing. And they're trying to warn her because, he has seen her and he's going to snatch her if she doesn't do something. They keep telling her, you got to remain visible. You got to stay out where everyone can see you. The second people don't see you, you're going to get, snatched away and disappeared, kind of stuff. Is the main as far as the kind of pressing storyline that was in this issue. The fun stuff about the issue is her interacting with her mom in this. She comes from a rich family. Her conversation with her mom. Her mom's like, You know, what are you hooked on? You know, I'm on one phone call away from calling the right doctor to help you out with whatever you're to. You know, is it pills? Is it boys? Is it girls? Is it heroin? You know, is it alcohol? What is it? I can help you out. And she's like, okay, you're not going to believe it, but it's ghosts. Ghosts? Yes. Okay. She gets on the phone and she calls a guy because she's got a phone number for everything there is. And it's some guy who does a TV show, the cold, you know, where he walks out on stage and then reads people's, oh, your loved ones, the medium kind of thing. Yep. And our main character is like, oh, come on. That guy's a jerk first, and he's not even real. So, but that's who they make an appointment with. Of course, that guy gets scared out of his mind because these guys who aren't really ghosts, but they are kind of spirits, they decide to mess with him. They totally freak him out, but which was kind of a fun part. But no, this issue, like I said, was really interesting because it starts nailing down the pieces. So now we know, okay, you know, she's potentially going to be threatened. This guy is coming after her. He almost gets to her in this issue. So all the players are known now. Now we can find out, you know, how do we navigate through this and whatnot, which is interesting. I love the art. The art clearly not for everybody. I mean, that is really kind of what the art looks like. I mean, there she is sitting on a bathroom sink with a whole bunch of crap around her and the crazy eyeball stuff that's going on. But I like the color. I like the stylization. Mara love it. I like her style, and she comes from a fashion background as far as doing art. Most of her artwork up until this point hasn't been comic books. It's been, you know, her doing fashion plates. So she's kind of using that style throughout the book. So, but like I said, really been enjoying it. Really happy to have picked it up. It's intriguing, kind of its own kind of strange little thing. So, you know. Got any others there, Mike?
No, I just grabbed the 2 this week.
Okay, so we'll blast through a few of these. So, got issue 2 of Baby Teeth. Anybody who remembers last month, I didn't particularly care for the first issue. Didn't think it gave us enough to really sink my teeth into, as it were. This issue was considerably better. I still don't think I'm on board with it. But like I said, this issue gives us more of what's going on. It's, you know, the baby's been born. It's not feeding very well. We find out there's this whole kind of governmental Illuminati kind of group that deals with things like the Antichrist being born all the time. They've got this, they hire this, they get their operative, they get this secret operative that's going to come and assassinate the baby. You know, she thinks it's the baby's normal baby. You know, she's got this, she's 16 years old. So she's got this whole kind of struggle with her father. And there's some good stuff in there. By the end of this, we find out the baby doesn't drink milk anymore. The baby drinks blood. She finds that out the hard way as she's breastfeeding. So that's unpleasant. So yeah, so how she's going to feed the baby going forward, I'm not exactly sure because she's not into that. So, but like I said, I like this issue more. It settled in really quickly to kind of giving us a more of a straight story than kind of a bunch of different moving pieces. So I did like that, but I still don't know that I'm like, you know, super excited about it or whatever. Let's see. Wicked and Divine, issue number 29. Still really like this book. You know, we're continuing to get heavy payoff if you've been reading all the way along. Everybody is hunting for this character. She is the goddess of war. Last issue, she basically butchered an entire orgy. I mean, she found out that all the other pantheon were kind of lying to her. They weren't telling her the whole story, and she's got anger issues, and she got really angry and she tears everybody up. I mean, tears everybody up. You know, we find out, confirm in this issue that she admits that she killed and ate her father when she first got her powers. She is kind of monstrous in a lot of ways. No impulse control, that sort of a thing. So everybody's hunting for her, all the pantheon, all regular people. Of course, now regular people have heard that she did this, so now regular people are kind of afraid of the pantheon, whereas up to this point, you know, Joe normal person kind of celebrates these people. They're just kind of a party, and now a lot of people are kind of afraid of them. Logically so. So it's kind of cramping their style. So they're hunting for her, and they're not sure how they're going to deal with her. You know, she will be a hard fight if they have to fight her. Plus, they have the darkness is still coming to get them, you know, kind of a thing. And they've got this machine that that their handler had created that they're still trying to figure out what it's about and how it works to try and get some answers to know, do they live past 2 years or do they really die in 2 years? You know, how does that all work? Because all those questions are still out there. But we're getting closer to some of the answers and whatnot. Like I said, just the character issues are really paying off now. That the who's in relationships with who and have been and stuff is all kind of playing out, and I really, really like it. You know, smart comic in a lot of ways. Sometimes potentially a little too smart for its own good, maybe. But I like it. I like it. Let's see. 7 to Eternity. Talk about this briefly solely because this is issue number 7. And this issue is drawn by James Herron, who normally does the art on Rumble. He's stepping in for a few issues. I'm not sure exactly why that's happening. But I thought maybe with this story, we were going to get like a complete side story that had nothing to do with the regular, you know, storyline. Nope. We're going on. We're not with what originally was our main character and the Mud King. We're with the rest of the group trying to figure out their stuff and whatnot. So whereas visually looks different than Ramon Opeña, who's got this very finely detailed artwork. James Herron is much more, his artwork is much more visceral. You can see the physicalness of it on the page. He likes to do lots of broad inking strokes and action and stuff like that. But it worked. It worked for this story, even though it's a lot different than the other artists. I'm still enjoying it. I'm interested in, you know, all the kind of fantasy elements that this book really is. And this book really does hit all the kind of fantasy elements in one way or another. But I'm enjoying it. So, you know. The last issue of The Visitor, how and why he stayed. I enjoyed this. It ends, I mean, the character ends at the end of this. He is no more by the end of the issue. And it ties into a particular timeline for Hellboy and when he was combating some stuff and when some stuff happens. They dovetailed that in really, really smartly, you know, kind of a thing. So that was, you know, that was cool. I like that. I enjoyed this issue. I liked the whole thing way more than I thought I was going to do. Still not the hugest fan of the art. But it was serviceable for the story that was, you know, that was here. I don't know that this would be have a whole lot of meaning to somebody who isn't into the rest of the Magnolia universe. But I am, so I enjoyed it for that. So, Shade of Changing Girl continues to be just a great story. In this issue, Shade is off to St. Elmo's to visit Honey, the TV star that she used to watch when she was back on Meta. She assumes that she's at the actual physical location that supposedly Honey lived in, which of course she did. I mean, she was in Hollywood on a Hollywood set, but so she goes to where the atomic bomb was created, messes around there some, you know, and protests with the protesters that are there and does all kinds of stuff. We find out that she's actually a living weapon also, that she relates with the bomb and because she's a weapon herself, that she can unleash the madness because the people on Meta finally catch up with her. And so two agents come down to snatch her up and take her back and take the vest off of her. So the crazy general person back on Meta can use it for whatever nefarious means they want. She doesn't allow that to happen, though. She actually unleashes this bomb of madness, and it blows everything up. It wrecks everything around her. I mean, the people that aren't just instantly dead are beyond crazy because she's, like I said, dropped a bomb of madness on everything. And that's kind of where it ends. Her friends back in the hometown are tracking the craziness across the country because they're trying to find her because they want to help her out. So they've been basically watching the internet, and when something crazy happens, they're pinpointing that to figure out. They figured out where she's at. They know where she's going to be at. Of course, this whole big crazy thing happened. And at the very end, we get a shot of the actual Honey, the actress who played Honey. You know, she's an old woman. She's being told that she has basically terminal cancer, days to live probably. Sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. Can you sign this headshot? I really liked you in that TV show. That's the doctor's doing to her. Yeah. And the doctors basically said, short of you getting a whole new body, there's nothing that can be done for you. So does Shade find where this real Honey is at and do something for her? We don't know. We'll find out. But I still really like the comic. It's not as, there's not like the same kind of emotional gut punches that were in the first arc of the book when we were learning about, you know, Megan, the body that Shade is inside of, and all that kind of stuff. Now it's closer to the kookiness that was Shade the Changing Man that came out from Vertigo. So, but I'm still enjoying it.
Does that feel like then it's wrapping up, or do you think that could roll on for another 2 or 3, 4 more arcs?
Oh, I think it could, you know, very easily. I mean, you know, they thwarted the people from Meta, and now they don't have the ability to find her again. So,
right.
You know, so that's kind of that I figure is the thing that stops her, is if they get, you know, I can actually get a hold of her and get the vest off of her. Clearly, that could be the end of the story. So, if that's kind of the cement that's holding all the arcs together, you know, this may be thwarted for now as she goes on and deals with this Honey thing. Then after she's dealing with the Honey thing, you know, maybe what's next. I feel like they're going to go back to the kids, you know, and that used to hang out with Megan, the body that Shade is inside, because we keep referencing back to them. And why would we do that if they weren't important anymore? If she was, you know, cut ties with them completely, and it was just on the way, we wouldn't keep readdressing that. So I'm assuming, you know, from a writing standpoint, that we'll go back to, you know, to them at some point. So I don't know. I think it's set up in a way that they could end it if they needed to. I have no idea. I don't know what the sales are for the book, you know, or any of that sort of stuff. You know, what they're using as a litmus test to, is it a successful book or not a successful book? I don't 100% know, but I really like it. Like I said, I thought the first arc was really, really good. Like I said, the emotional, you know, pulls that we went through and whatnot were all really intriguing and whatnot. This is more of an adventure and less of the gut punchy, oh my gosh, you know, teen angst kind of stuff going on in it. So kind of different, but I still like it. Yeah. And lastly, I'll talk about Stray Bullets, issue number 25. I finally did figure out what this color thing back there. And now that I know what it is, it's really obvious. I mean, yeah, it is a lamp, but I could not figure that out for the life of me. I mean, I looked in the book, outside the book, could not figure it out because I don't know. All I could see was this blob of color. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, it's a Tiffany lamp, that kind of a lamp. Anyway, so this issue was really, really good. They're all really good, quite honestly. This issue, we get to see some backstory for one of the characters. You know, he's kind of a killer. Well, he's not kind of a killer. 100% is a killer. We get to see his kind of late childhood, about 4 or 5 years before he gets into Baltimore with the crazy that's going on in the Stray Bullets cast. He shoots his parents. He snipers them from, like, you know, a half a block away kind of thing, because he's kind of the silent killer. You know, so we get some, like I said, we get some more of the evil background behind this guy that is causing utter chaos in the current story of the book. We get to see some relationship between Beth and Spanish Scott that I don't think we really knew, that they were almost potentially an item at one point, which I find really intriguing, because, you know, I've read thousands of pages of this comic now, and almost all the pages I've seen, Beth absolutely hates Spanish Scott. Does not even want to sit in the same room with the guy. And in this issue, it was all this crazy guy trying to set Spanish Scott up with Beth. And Spanish Scott is crazy too. They're all murdering drug lord kind of guys. And so it was really interesting to kind of see that whole play out, and the fall from that kind of thing. So makes no sense to anybody who does not read the comic, but I still really like it. I still highly recommend it if you like kind of crime noir, you know, sort of thing that's told in a non-linear fashion. So bits and pieces of it are all in a proper timeline, but we jump years to years to tell whatever story that David Lapham is wanting to write at the time. Just really, really good stuff. Really cool. Anyway, that's basically it for my books. I don't know of any like creator-owned, independent-y kind of stuff out there. Anything else we want to talk about?
I do know that Mile High Comics dropped out of Comic-Con this year after 44 years. They decided it is no longer close enough to even being comic book related. So
yeah, I know they had been threatening for the last couple of years to do that. So yeah, I saw that they finally pulled the plug on that, which is a big deal because I mean they're like one of the big comic sellers. But right, they aren't anybody who's into comics and has been kind of paying attention to the news around San Diego Comic-Con. That's not news, right? To a lot of us that it's not really comics anymore. Yeah. It's more about the other media stuff and about making contacts with Hollywood and whatnot. Hell, I mean, that's why DC moved out to Burbank, was so they'd be closer to all the Hollywoody kind of stuff too. So yeah.
Otherwise, no, I can't think too much more that's out there. So
no. Alrighty. I have no idea what's coming out next week. I have no idea what my week's going to be like, even as far as books go. I'm probably going to get dumped with a ton because this was a smaller week. I'm sure that means the next week I'll just get buried. So anyway, hopefully we'll be back, talk some comics next week.
Yeah.
We'll see what controversies are out there this next week that we won't talk about here. That clearly, if you are tuned into the internet at all, you can see the rage about whatever the latest thing is. And not to imply that those conversations aren't important conversations, just not necessarily conversations we're going to have here. So. With that, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you all you who tuned in live here. Thank you for the comments. Those of you that commented while we've been chatting, and those of you who watched this after the fact, thank you too. And we'll be back next week with something, the comics.
Yeah. Remember, it's hot out there, kids. Keep reading comics inside.
That's right. That's right. For sure. Have a great one, everybody.